What's up, everyone? Thralls here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin John.
And we have an album review for you. So yet another one that came out on the 28th of May that wasn't Portal was the newest offering from Finland's Ghastly with their new album Mercurial Passages. This comes out on $20 spin, again on the 28th. This is the third full length from these guys. They have one other EP, and their guitarist is also in the band Stench of Decay, which is a awesome, gross Finnish death metal band that's fiercely underground that I love. This is some really cool, riffy stuff, and I don't know if it's just kind of coming out of the hangover of all the Portal albums, but my God, this was like kind of refreshing and just kind of getting back to maybe normal.
Yeah.
Ghastly's style of death metal, and this is pretty much kind of a carryover from the last album, Death Allure, is very atmospheric. Lots of different riff combinations, distance, atmosphere. It's a really interesting sound overall.
The album does a good job of setting the pace and the tone for the record with the first song, Ouroboros.
Ouroboros, I think.
Ouroboros.
Snake that eats its tail.
Just came across as very atmospheric, kind of with a twinge of blackened death metal in it. It sounds very raw and very gritty. There's layering going on, but overall it sounds like, I think, exactly what you would get live.
Yeah, that was our consensus. It has kind of that 90s style production, very organic sound, and kind of analog, especially the drums. The drums sound like, they just were played right there in the studio and just we don't need to add anything.
To be honest, it sounds like it may have been done in mic'd in an open room, because the parts of the drums were buried, but other parts were real prevalent. He's smacking the shit out of that snare.
Yeah.
Because that's on, and he's hitting the cymbals really well, but the rest of the drums sound pretty far off. Almost like they weren't fully mic'd all the way.
And the reverb kind of sounds natural too. None of the reverb on here seems overdone. You have the appropriate amounts of the vocals, drums, bass, guitars. And then occasionally in the background, you'll get some really cool synths, which, believe me, we're going to get into those later, because they definitely add a lot. But yeah, the overall feel of this, I feel like it was a live show, and I love that feel about it.
Yeah, me too.
And when it comes down to delivering what I love about death metal, big riffs, big, huge grooves, and really cool songwriting, these guys check off all of that.
And they do it in almost every song. They really know how to keep your attention. The transitions, for the most part, are actually really buttery smooth. Yeah. There are a couple places where it veers off the beaten path a little bit, and there are some abrupt changes that don't sometimes make sense. But overall, they flow. There's a good ebb and flow with these songs.
Yeah, the whole album, it works as a really cool continuous piece, even though there are distinct breaks in the tracks. Personal favorites of mine in terms of delivering that main big hook that they always return to, Dawn of Dreams and Sea of Light. Both of these songs have a big distinct anchor riff that they always return to. They dance around it. They play a lot of cool stuff in between it, varying the tempos. You don't get a tremendous amount of blast beats on here, but when they do use them, they're used very tastefully, and it sets up a totally different feel.
For the most part, the songs are pretty, at least the drum work is pretty straightforward. Reminds me a lot of Bolt Thrower, actually.
Yeah, that Bolt Thrower groove is all over here.
Yep, they don't ever really deviate from that much, but like Nick said, when the blasts are few and far between, but they're peppered in nicely. They fit whatever mode they're going for.
Out of the Psychic Blue, when the blast beats come in, and I mean fast, nasty blast beats, it reminds me so much of Altars of Madness, and that coupled with the production, and you could actually hear these synths come in behind it. But Dawn of Dreams has this amazing clean break where the synths come in like horror synths, 70s and 80s horror flicks, but with these really cool, clean guitar melodies and a sick bass line underneath.
It's almost got a Sabbath-y feel on the intro. Yeah, you get back to Steve Tucker era Morbid Angel, or the dissonance in the Althar record.
Oh yeah. I mean, both Althar records.
Yeah,
$20 spin alum there too.
But something cool that this band does as well is they incorporate jam sections in sometimes. It goes from this cool metal thing to almost just a really kind of spacey jam. The jam in Dawnless Dreams reminded me of a darker Spirit Caravan.
The opening of Mirror Horizons is fiercely like death doomy, like talking like early Candlemass, except without clean vocals. Actually, it takes a while for the vocals to come in on that, and man, dude, it's just impactful. And that's the cool thing about this album, is it explores a lot of different moods within death metal. The only thing I would say is it doesn't really get like brutal. Like, it doesn't feel brutal, and I don't know if that's part of the production or just the style of how they're playing, but it's more like sinister and cosmic.
I don't know. I think we're soiled a little bit. This being so close to when we just did the Portal review. I don't know. It like Nick said, it made this sound refreshing.
Yeah, Portal traumatic syndrome. That's a real thing, I'm sure.
Dude.
PTSD.
Yeah.
One of the cool things that I really like about this album too is the balance between atmosphere and flat out riffing. They know when to pretty much favor one and favor the other.
Yep.
It's really cool because you can sense like, all right, this atmospheric part has kind of gone on for a bit, and then boom, you are in stupid, catchy tremolo riffs like Dawnless Dreams again. That's easily one of my favorites on here. Or you get a nice blackened section like the opening of Perdition, which is just very kind of chaotic and just nasty sounding, but it moves into like kind of early death. Like very Scream Bloody Gore and Leprosy. It's just riff driven. There's a nice D beat behind it. This album is all over the place, but it never feels like it goes off the rails at any point.
No, and they do a good job of reeling it back in, because they touch on so many, I want to say so many genres of metal during all of these songs. They don't let anything wane too far off. They kind of say, okay, here's a taste of this, and then we got you right back into something else cool.
Parasites actually has like probably the only like straight up thrashy riffs on here. Very similar to a band like Horrendous. Like Horrendous definitely loves the thrashy side of death metal, or Superstition in terms of like these really cool crawling riffs that are over there. So there's some modern bands there similar to, like, I would say on the atmospheric side, Obliteration. Obliteration really has a similar sound. Yeah, I know. I kept thinking about it as I was listening. It was like those dissonant riffs and melodies and kind of that haunting growl, which the vocals on here are really awesome. There's one main vocalist, and then I think another member backs them up, but they have distinctly different growls, and they layer them really well. And God, when they throw in like, you know, like big death doomy sections, it's accented well, like big tom hits or cymbal accents. Everything is kind of like made to elevate the mood of the album, whatever mood they're going for. Guitar interplay is also very important. Both guitarists really just seem to feed off of each other. And when it comes down to like lead work, you really don't get a lot of solos. You get more lead melodies to complement the big riff behind it. And the interplay is always really good. Like, they complement one another very well. And the only solo that really comes in is on Parasites, and it's really good. It kind of has this weird dreamy tone.
So like there's actually two solos in that song, and the first, I think it's the different guitar players. I think they both took a solo, but like the first solo is like kind of doomy yet kind of thrashy and very melodic, but the second lead is almost neoclassical.
There's a weird tone on it. That's the thing that I really got sucked in by, because the tone, it wasn't what you were expecting. You were expecting like, all right, some squealy dive bombs. It's going to be a little chunkier sounding.
And it doesn't take that approach.
No.
It takes a very unique approach to what they're doing. Because you don't hear that too much in bands like this, especially taking a neoclassical approach to one of the leads, which is very well done.
Oh yeah, it's really good. I think most of the time with like old school death metal, I mean, we love our squealy dive bombs and like lots of shredding and just like weird atmospheric stuff. This was really like very polished, and the phrasing on it was really good.
Yeah. Yep.
Now I gotta say, like, the album cover on this, for some odd reason, just bugs me. It's great artwork. I love it. It's the hands and all the ooze. I'm dripping with goose.
You ever seen biomechanical tattoos, or like aqua mechanical tattoos? It kind of had that thing. There's weird shit going on in there.
It's like someone stuck a Geiger painting in the microwave too long, and it just started like dripping out. It's whatever was in it.
Yeah.
It looks sticky, and that bugs me. So overall, I dig it. I dig it a lot. And in fact, I don't think it has anything to do with it being a refreshing listen from Portal. This is really well-written, well-crafted death metal, and I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. Everything pretty much just checks off in terms of my list of, stuff that I love about death metal. Great riffs, great melodies, very interesting hooks. The songwriting is very imaginative. Groovy sections, blast sections, they ran the gamut, and this interesting sort of cosmic, sinister feel across the board just has me. Awesome album. I strongly recommend their earlier albums, but I think this is just a whole new monster here. This is just amazing. Definitely check it out.
I'm going to give it a 4. I have minor mixing gripes, but that's not a big deal. Like Nick said, the songs are very well written. The band does a wonderful job at keeping your attention. There's little surprises around every nook and cranny, but nothing dangerous, said Willy Wonka. It was just a great listen, relaxing at times, which I didn't think was going to be the case for this album, but I really dig this band. I want to know what comes next already. It's too bad bands don't release that quickly unless you're Portal.
Yeah, well, Portal had a thing to do. Fuck up eardrums and people and psyches, everything.
But that wasn't this record. This record was amazing.
Oh my God. So. Breathe it in. It's fresh air. It's wonderful. So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you would like to help us out there, there'll be a link below in the description. We throw up all sorts of outtakes. We have podcasts, random stupid pictures, because that's the only kind of pictures we take. And we have a giveaway going on once we hit 6,000 subs, which should happen relatively soon.
Probably. I'd guess in the next week and a half.
I don't think it's going to be that fast. But I think it's going to happen, and it is all due to you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on the channel and following us, losers. I think that's the nicest thing I can say about us.
I'm not a loser.
Oh, the internet begs to differ.
I'm not a loser. I'm not a loser.
But yeah, if you have not commented on that video for our giveaway, there will be a link below in the description. All you have to do is comment and you are in. And it's a 4 CD package, and, well, watch the video. There's some good stuff in there. So with that, we thank you, and we will catch you later.